Okay, so today I'm going to be brewing an IPA with my new brew setup, and I'll give you a look at it now. This is my setup. I've got a induction cooktop with I think it's a 10-gallon brew pot. I have another 7-gallon brew pot that I'm going to use to collect my wort while I do my sparging. I have another induction cooktop over here that I'm using to heat up my sparge water to 170 degrees, and I'll be using that to sparge with. So for right now, I'm going to mash at 152 degrees for an hour. I have my little thermostat on the top here. When it gets to 164, I will put my grain in and let it mash at 152 degrees for an hour. So that's where I am now. Okay, so my brew pot is at 164.7 degrees, and I'm going to put in my grain now and then start my mash. So let's see if I can put that there. 164. Have some. I forgot I have a pound of Belgian sugar I'm going to be putting in here as well. So I put in my 1 pound of dark rock candy sugar, Belgian. That goes in. 10 pounds of grain. Dumping in my grain. I'm going to stir it up a bit while I'm dumping it in. Pretty thick. Wow. All right. Put something in there. Pause this. Temperature has dropped down to 147. Let's see if I can get a look at this. It's pretty thick. I only started with 3.5 gallons of water, so trying to get it all mixed in here. Pretty good. I think that's pretty good. My temperature is at 150. I'm going to cover this back up and let it mash for an hour. All right, that's it. Okay, I'm done with my mash. Now I'm going to start sparging. So now I'm sparging my water, 170 degree water, into my grain, my brew pot, and draining it into my other brew pot. And I'll continue to do this until I get done with the 2.5 gallons of sparge water that I have. Should take about 15-20 minutes, I think. Okay, I finished my sparging. Now I'm going to drain my grain and then put the wort back into the brew pot and boil. Draining the grain back into the brew pot. I've already collected my wort, So once the grain gets done draining into the brew pot, I will dump my wort back into my brew pot and boil for an hour. Okay, I finished draining the grain, about where it slowed down to where it was still dripping. I didn't get it all, but I got most of it. And then I poured it back into my brew. So this is the combination of the collected wort and what was in my brew pot. It looks like I've got about maybe 4.5 gallons, which is about right where I want to be. So when I do my boil, I'll probably lose a gallon. Put me about 3.5 gallons, which is right where I want to be. So I took a gravity reading pre-boil, and I came out with 0.058. So now I'm starting my boil using my other induction cooktop. So here is my other induction cooktop with my brew pot ready to go. I started it up. It is 12:10 right now. My temperature is sitting at 163 degrees, and we'll see how long it takes for this to boil. Okay, it's 12:35 and I am boiling, so I'm going to add my first hops, and in goes the hops. So that will go for 60 minutes, and in 45 minutes I will be adding the second hops. Okay, so I got 15 minutes left on my boil. I'm going to add in my second hops. So there you go. I got 2 hops in there. 15 minutes left to boil. After my boil, I'm going to start my whirlpool. Add in another hops at 175 degrees. So that's it for now. Okay, so I'm done with my 60-minute boil. Now I'm going to do a 15-minute whirlpool. It's just a matter of dumping more hops in and stirring it around. And I'm going to let this go for 15 minutes. Okay, so I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but I'm going to try. Dump in my hops, give it a swirl, and let this go for 15 minutes. Okay, done with the whirlpool. Now I'm going to start chilling. So I put my chiller in. Here we go. I got my ice chest set up over here with cold water. This is just out of the hose. And then I got my wort over here with the chiller inside. And then I'm dumping the hot water into this bucket here. And when I get it dumped out about 3 gallons, I'm going to put in some more cold water that I have over here into here, and I'm just going to continue to do that until I get it down to about 100 degrees, I guess. And then I'm going to put ice in the ice chest and finish it up. So that's where I am now, starting my chill. Down to 100 degrees, and now comes the ice. So I put in a bunch of ice in my water, and this won't take long. Let's see, still at 100. So I'm going to go down to about 70, I would say 70 degrees. And then I'm going to be able to pitch my yeast. So I guess I'll give it maybe 15 minutes. Okay, I got my wort down to 78 degrees. And the yeast I'm using says it's good between 64 and 82. So by the time I get this over into my fermentation tank, it's going to probably be around, I would say 70, 77 maybe. Good enough to pitch my yeast. So right now I'm going to transfer this over into my fermentation tank. Okay, I'm all done. Put my wort inside of my fermentation tank and pitched my yeast, and now I'm ready to just sit back and wait. This ended up being about 3.5 gallons, which is what I had calculated it out to be. So I think it's gonna come out pretty good. The original gravity reading at the end, just before I pitched the yeast, was 6.9. So that's within the range. The high was 7.6, the low was 5.4, so I think 6.9 is respectable. So we shall see how this ferments out. I'm using a different yeast than I've used before. It's Jack's Triple. It's Jack's Triple Belgian. So we'll see.